thank you so much for joining us. It's really a pleasure to get a chance to chat with our partners each and every month. So shout out to you guys for being on um, and getting us rocking. Tina's trying to take over now, and she's clicking around. It's causing me some trouble there. Sorry. So without further ado, we are going to talk about borrowing money in businesses and realistically, what business owners can do to help ease their tax burden. And when I say that, it's important that I give a little bit of definition behind it. To be honest, the businesses that we work with these days are in two completely different categories and everywhere in between. We have businesses that are highly profitable, that are making lots of money. They're doing great, and they're taking advantage of their place in the market, and really growing and rocking and rolling, as we say. And then there's some businesses that face some challenges. Maybe this year they're taking some losses. Today's conversation is more going to be targeted towards that first group, the people that are making money in their businesses, and the money that they make, they want to be able to keep and utilize to grow the business and take advantage of different things that allow them to do that. So that's what today's conversation is going to be about. Little bit of insight into myself. I've been in the industry for about 10 plus years now. And we've been rocking and rolling here at ROK Financial with over 12,000 active partnerships. We fund all of our business through people like you, people that are watching this right now. We only work with third-party providers. So you can't come to us directly. You're not going to find us out there. Excuse me. You're not going to find us out there doing pay-per-click marketing or sending mail to you with a check and pre-approved check or credit card. No, from us, you're going to be referred to us through your business banker, through your attorney or CPA, potentially a broker that you're working with or business consultant, right? That's who works with us. Equipment vendors, lenders, a lot of different banks are working with ROK to offer our products and services to their customer base, right? And we are so excited that we've officially cracked already over $250 million provided to small businesses this year. And with over 6,000 businesses that we've helped, you can see that our average loan size, we're not talking about $5 million loans or $10 million loans here. Our average loan size is somewhere between like $40,000 and $65,000, depending on a given industry or whatever filter you'd like to break down our data by. We do loans from $5,000 all the way to $5 million on the unsecured side. And when we talk about secured products like commercial real estate or AR or factoring or equipment financing, some of those deals could even be much larger, 10, 20, 25 million, $30 million. So most of the deals that we do are term loans, lines of credit, working capital loans for business owners that are gaining access to between $30,000 and $350,000 to $500,000. We do a good amount of $1 million loans or $1.5 million loans, but we're not saturated in these tremendously large deals. No, we deal with every business, from mom and pop businesses to businesses that have been around for hundreds of years and have hundreds of employees. So you really get a wide range. Oh, what just happened? I got to go back to the presentation here. Sometimes this mouse doesn't work like I'd like. Sorry. Freaking out. So I just wanted to start with basic insight, right? So what are the differences between a tax deduction and a tax credit, right? And as you can see here on the screen, they are completely different, right? When you are talking about a tax credit in particular, you are talking about direct reductions to your tax liability, right? So if you owe $25,000 in tax, any credits that you have would directly lower that number. Whereas a deduction is going to look at your income number, and that deduction is going to tell you how much you can deduct from either qualified expenses that you can utilize qualified expenses to deduct from your total income, right? So based on how much money you make, that would lower, essentially, according to Uncle Sam, how much money you made, right? So that's what we're talking about here. We're gonna dive into what business owners can do in pretty much each of these categories. But here's 5 key strategies and benefits that business owners can implement this year, right? And that's what's really, really interesting about this stuff is year after year, tax law continues to evolve and change. And each time we elect new officials, this stuff is liable to change. So it's very, very important that, like number 3 says here, consult with a tax professional. You're going to hear me say that 10,000 times on this webinar. So excuse me for that. But tax law is so it's so precise, right? I forget how many pages there are exactly, but I think it's something like 80,000 pages of tax law or something like that. It's an astronomical number. And a lot of it is what you can't do. So when you build a box around things that you can't do, you start to get a clear picture of what you can do. So some of the things that you can do is you can deduct your interest. So a lot of times when you are talking about interest paid on a loan for a business, right? A business loan or a business line of credit, any interest cost can be deducted, right? It's a deduction, not a credit, from your taxable income. Right. So it's important that you understand, like, hey, interest rates might be up right now, but if you are a profitable business, guess what? You can deduct any interest costs that you're going to pay from your income. So because of that, it gives you a ton of flexibility when borrowing. And I'm not going to say that you shouldn't worry about the cost of capital being high. I'm the first person to tell you dollars have to make sense when you're borrowing money. But if you understand the value in borrowing that money and what you're able to do because you borrowed that money, how can you pivot and make the situation much more than just the rate that might be on the piece of paper or on your contract that you're going to sign, right? Then specifically working capital loans, right? Things that are working capital purposes like inventory, like operational expenses or marketing or hiring, right? These are things that may lead directly to generating income. Most of the time, any interest on these things are directly tax deductible. So it's really, really important that you understand, how can I apply the types of funding that I'm taking or the type of interest that I'm incurring? Is there any tax benefit to borrowing the money a particular way, right? Again, always, always, always consult with your tax professional based on what your what your specific scenario is. Sorry, specific scenario really screwed me up there for a second. But make sure that you consult your tax professional, because a lot of this stuff has to do with ins and outs and nuances that are applicable to you based on your business, how old it is, where you are, and a lot of other factors that go into it. Couple other benefits here that you should be aware of. Number one is Section 179, and don't believe me about this one. You can go on YouTube and find a lot of videos on Section 179. Don't believe everything you hear on YouTube, though. Remember, always consult with a tax strategist. But you can do some research on this. Section 179 is a part of the tax code that allows any type of equipment that is purchased for business use to be fully deducted from your taxable income, right? So let me give you an example here, right? If you are a business that has made $100,000 in profit this year, and you are taxed at the corporate tax rate of 20%, because you made $100,000, you owe $20,000 in taxes. Now, if you were to buy a piece of equipment with your $100,000 that you made, let's call it $50,000, because you bought that $50,000 piece of equipment, potentially up to $50,000 is what you can write off for that piece of equipment. So now that you bought that piece of equipment, you can turn around and say, hey, I actually only made $50,000 this year. So because of that, my tax liability is actually only $10,000, right? So really, really understanding how you can apply Section 179 is a major, major benefit to small businesses and business owners alike. Just to give you a quick example of something that fits this wholeheartedly is a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. Believe it or not, the G-Wagon weighs enough weight that it is classified as a commercial vehicle, and because of that, it can be used for business use. And that is something that you could write off in your business utilizing Section 179. Again, when you are doing something like this, or you are looking to apply your tax strategy this way, make sure you're doing it with your accountant, bookkeeper, or tax strategy professional. They need to be in the know, because they're going to know your particular scenario and how you can apply this stuff directly. Let me just add one caveat to that, though. Let's say you financed that piece of equipment, and your finance cost on the $50,000 piece of equipment was going to be, I don't know, let's call it 20%. Well, that $50,000 piece of equipment at 20% is going to cost me $10,000. I now paid $10,000 in interest, which I know I can write off, and I bought a piece of equipment. Because I bought a piece of equipment utilizing financing, I can write off not only the value of the equipment, but also the interest that I've also incurred, right? So hear me loud and clear, where now any interest that you were also incurring because you bought that piece of equipment could also be written off. So if you made $100,000 in your business and you used equipment financing to buy a $50,000 piece of equipment that's going to cost you $10,000 in interest, so $60,000 for your $50,000 piece of equipment, and you financed all of that, you would have your $50,000 piece of equipment and potentially no tax obligation. Because if you were somebody that was taxed at that corporate tax rate of 20%, well, 20% of 100,000 is going to be 20,000. But because we know we can write off 10,000 due to the piece of, we can deduct that down to 50,000 because we bought a $50,000 piece of equipment, right? And then I can also deduct any of my $10,000 that I've paid into interest. You're now only paying interest, only paying taxes on that $40,000 that remains, right? So that's $60,000. Even though you have $100,000 still in the bank, you are still all good on only paying tax on that 40,000. Again, really, really apply this stuff using the strategies and insights from your bookkeepers or your accountants. Other deductions, other things that small businesses can write off are operational expenses like rent, office supplies, insurance, vehicle expenses like mileage, gas, or maintenance are all possible deductions. Again, consult with your tax professional to get some insights as to exactly how this stuff might work or be applicable. For example, just picking one thing out, the mileage can be done two completely separate ways. So make sure that you're having these conversations with somebody. Now, let's talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to borrow money, for my small business, and I want to really dive in, right? Well, what should you do? First thing is understand your need, right? If you are somebody that's working with small business owners and they tell you, hey, I'm looking for financing, or I'm looking for funding, or I need a loan, or I need a line of credit. Well, the first thing you should understand is, what are they using the money for? Right? What is the money for? The use of funds is going to be a major, major way for them to back themselves into the best financing that's going to be available for their scenario. The other thing that they should do is explore multiple options, right? The worst thing that you could do is apply with one bank or lender these days, to be honest. I'm not telling you to shop around to everybody. We take the shopping out of it for you. We work with over 75 different banks and lenders. But if you were to do that, and only go to one bank, I don't think they're going to point out that somebody else out there might have a better product for you. They're going to try to sell you there. So just keep that in mind when you're working with business owners. Make sure that either you or your the service providers that you're working with have multiple options for the businesses that you're working with. The other thing is regularly assess your needs. I think the last couple of years have shown people how quickly things can change in terms of interest rates, in terms of cost of capital, in terms of structuring deals. Just this year alone, we've seen major banks collapse from Silicon Valley earlier this year to some other ones, right? So there's a lot that, can change rapidly. And because of that, it's important that you regularly assess the needs of financing within your business and how you might be able to apply what's available right now to service that need. The other thing is you might not need it right now, right? You might look at it and go, hey, based on the scenario, we're going to look at this thing again in 90 days or 6 months. And there's no harm or foul in that. What you really want to do is make sure any funding that you're taking is the right type of funding and that you've timed that decision correctly. So just some insight for you guys that are on the call here, right? I see we're over 90 somewhat people on the call. For you guys that are on the call, a little bit of insight into our partnership program, what you have to do, what your responsibility is. I simply refer to it as the 3 N's. If you can provide us with a name, number, and need of a business owner that's looking for funding, we can take that application from application. Well, we can take that prospect or potential borrower from application to approval and approval to funding with the most seamless process on the market. You can sit back and allow us to handle the whole transaction and ultimately receive your commission the following week after any loans fund that you or any business, any customer takes financing from us. When you are involved with a business, though, if you are somebody that you're like, I don't know if I really want ROK handling the whole transaction, let us know. That's just our out of the box experience. We believe in being hands-on. So if that means being hands-on with you and your customer, that's fine. If we need to be hands-on on behalf of you for your customer, that's fine. If you want to be hands-on and work through our process, that's fine. Just let us know the system that works best for you. And we can certainly make that happen for you. Some insight into the programs, right? I know I talked a little bit about equipment financing, which is on the secured side of things. You also have asset-based loans or AR lines or factoring programs. We offer all different types of SBA funding from 504 to 7A, 7A Express, or even the micro loan that the SBA offers. We do working capital loans, term loans, cash advances, lines of credit, a little bit of everything on the unsecured side. So if you have a business owner that's looking for funding and they want to know what their options are, we have a variety of lending options available. But even inside of each of these buckets, as we might call them, there are multiple products available and multiple lenders servicing that portion of what we have to offer. So what that means for you is competition is a good thing. Because we have multiple options, that means we're going to be able to service a wide variety of need. And that's what happens with today's business owners is their needs are very niche. They're very targeted to what their specific scenario is. I mean, not to go into all the risk factors that underwriters look at, but they're going to look at your credit. They're going to look at your time in business. They're going to look at your industry. They're going to look at your geography. They're going to look at who owns the business, right? How does ownership break up? They're going to look at your bank statements and financials with a microscope, right? There's so many things that they're going to be looking at, and any situation where things might be out of whack or things might not be aligned, we need to have a game plan for that. And that's what we do really well. We help business owners structure a plan so that they can actually gain access to the funding. So why partner with ROK? You're going to get multiple points of contact. You get a dedicated partnership advisor that's there to help you make the most of your partnership with us. And shout out to the partnership advisor team, any of them that might be on the call. But definitely important that you understand that they are your team member, to be honest. Yes, they might sit in our office, but they're only as successful as the partnerships that they build. So they want to work with you. They want you to build a successful partnership with us, and realistically are there to help you do that. You can also leverage all of our brand, our relationships, and all of the marketing and technology that we have available. So realistically, you could look at it like, oh, I could be a broker in a box for lack of a better term, right? Where, you could align with ROK. We could give you all the marketing and landing pages and help you drum up the business, help you close the business, help you make the money and monetize on this. Or if you're somebody that's doing it already, pick off the parts of it that you need. If you need access to the different programs or maybe one program, great. Tell us. Let's deliver on that for you. And let's make sure that the experience speaks to what you need to use us with use us for. Wow, that was a tongue twister. um, Couple things. I always like to point this out. You don't have to work with your partnership advisor each and every day, right? If you are somebody that's coming across business owners daily and you plan on kind of building a pipeline, or you are somebody that has a pipeline with us, you can track everything right inside of our portal, and you can do that from anywhere, right? So if you want to be like a team member and rock out on your laptop or your computer, right? A lot of our guys got two monitors, some got three, some got four, right? But you can dive right into our CRM through our partner portal and be able to track your transactions, go through, look at historical data, follow up with anything you need to follow up with. Any points of contact information that you might need is all going to be there for you. And then the same thing if you're on the go, right? If you're somebody that, you are referring business over and you just want to get a bird's eye view on things, or even if you wanted to get into the nitty gritty, that can all be done from your smartphone as well. So don't forget that you can access us 24/7 from anywhere in the world utilizing our portal. And if you don't have access to it and you're not a partner, I suggest you become one now and get access to the platform. Couple of quick success stories for you. I always like to highlight some recent successes because I think it's important that you guys know what's going on in the market, right? So, when you are looking at who's receiving funding, the number one industry right now, if you are wondering, is the medical or dental industry. That's not just for us, that's across the board. Everybody likes to lend money to doctors. I guess people get sick, right? And they're going to continue to get sick, and they're going to continue to need to go to the doctor. So that's why the medical industry is a home run for those that are looking to see, where should I get my footing, or those that, are looking for, some insight into, what industries perform best. The medical industry is really probably at the top, right? They were moving into a new location. They needed to build out that location, get some equipment. So they took $1.5 million from us here. I believe this loan closed in just like 4 or 5 days, so that they could continue to not need to put so much focus on financing, but more on their build out on the equipment, right? And really getting rocking. Always like to say, do some research on us, especially if you're new and you're not working with us, or you're not rocking out with us just yet. Make sure that you do some research, right? You can totally utilize our platform, but don't take my word for it. Don't take this review's word for it. Go do some research. Go on Trustpilot, go on Google. You will see nothing but 5 stars, 4.9 ratings, and really understand how people are leveraging us and why, right? You'll see business owners and those that are referring us business alike in there leaving reviews about their experience from working with the team. If you are new, like I was saying, become a partner. You can simply scan this link here. It's very, very easy to get signed up with us. I believe there's only like 5 or 6 fields that you have to fill out: your name, your email address, your phone number, so we can contact you. But I know the partnerships team is ready to rock with any new partners that might be on the call. And kudos to you if you are new. Would love to have you and love to work together. So make sure you scan this link now. Anybody else that's looking for additional info or just some additional insights, maybe you don't know how to utilize the QR code, that's fine. You can simply visit our website at ROK.biz. You can give us a call directly on our toll-free number, or you can always send an email to info@ROK.biz. And we're always available. The one thing that I try to make it extremely clear on all of these webinars that we do. And one of the things that's super tough is, we're just a face behind the screen here. I'm kind of talking at you guys for an hour. I think it's really important that you understand though that we're real people. And we really help business owners, and we really help those who help business owners. So I think it's important that you understand that we're here to align with you, to give you the resources you need to help your business owner customers take advantage of what's available.